Cancer, sun, moon, rising sign. Wow. One of the luckiest years of your reality is just about to befall you. 2025 gives you superior blessings from Lord Jupiter in a way you haven't seen for 12 years. And an extremely more than 100-year rare event is also going to add to your luck. We could just call this Cancer's luckiest year in a long time. We're also going to talk about a time coming up next spring and spring of 25 where you might be considering retiring, changing your work, or reaching a real pinnacle in the career story. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about roughly 4 items that you Cancers must know about, because I have also created a much longer video, a 2-hour video that you can also get, and it's in the description box below. It's my fundraiser. It's for sale. It helps me grow my business here. And so there is a sale, the Ho Ho Santa Claus, Christmas season, New Year's sale too. So go ahead and check that out. And just so you know, that's a PDF, a guidebook. It's an 2-hour-long video, downloadable and audio downloadable as well as just an unlisted link on my YouTube channel. So go check the description box below. Maybe help me grow my business, because I use it to hire video editors, timestampers, get a ring light, and a much needed new laptop on which I record these videos for you. So, and welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac. I'm here to help you time your best life using astrology as a navigational tool. Remember, it's general bell curve astrology. It's not your personal reading, but it does work. And so if you want to listen for your sun sign, think of it as career and purpose matters. And conceptually, perhaps it is like the eternal nature of who you really are, sort of like an actor who then plays the role in the movie. The role you play is your rising sign. And so that's kind of like the character in the screenplay. So there's a lot that goes on that's been kind of pre-scripted, and it's very circumstantial. Life events unfold as they are scripted for you as a character in this matrix game of life simulation. And the moon can be anything to do with your home, but also how you feel and think, like the mind-body complex. Like, I think that person's, a jerk, and I feel really depressed with what's going on in my career, the kind of emotional content of one's life. So let's get rolling and talk now about your story. I'm so happy for you guys. Cancers, this is going to be an amazingly positive year for the most part, for most of you. I'm going to be talking about 4 things that you must pay attention to, but let's start off with a little bit of the early turbulence before the goodness shows up, because things aren't always just that simple. Let me show you a picture of the sky so you can get a grasp of this storyline. Why am I in 2013? Well, one never knows, does one? Somehow I'm in 2013, and that just makes me smile. Let's just fix the chart and move us to 2025. One never knows during Mercury retrograde, which I'm recording this under, what's going to happen. Here we have a better picture of the sky. So as you can see, and this is you. You're the Cancer rising on the eastern horizon, or sun or moon. And the first thing you're going to notice, guys, and I got lots more detail in my PDF guidebooks and stuff, but you've got this Mars coming your way. Like, think of it like boom, 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 boom. That's supposed to be me doing Jaws, right? Bad Jaws interpretation. But here he comes because he's coming into your sign. Now, one thing about this, it's nothing new. September 4th to November 4th, he was doing the same darn thing. And you were like, hail thee, Mars, but he was going direct. Now, other than injuring yourself, which can happen, fevers, rashes, heat in the body, cutting with burning yourself, hot water, it's a water sign. You may have had a September 4th to November 4th, or inflammation in the body, especially around joint pain. Some of that may have been going on for you. Perhaps, maybe not, September 4th to November 4th. But Mars is better than just an annoying health problem. Mars is the guy who wants to put the sword in your hand. The sort of discernment of cutting away what you don't want in your career, your relationships to significant others, your home life, a gentle sword aimed at your children to kind of help them in a very discerning, motivational way. That's probably a lot of how you felt September, October. Well, you had a direct motion Mars here, but Mars felt like he had to go back. He's like, oh, wait, I'm into the earnings and money house, and to make some decisions around finances on January 6th. On December 6th, and now on January the 6th, he comes back into the house of you. Now, he's going to be here till April the 18th. And yes, that is an extraordinarily long time. Think about the fact that it will have been 6 months, October, November, and then January, February, March, into mid-April, that you have this Martian energy. Come on, Cancer. You guys are really low key. You're not the ones who go, oh my God, I can't. You're the ones. Cancers are highly fiercely protective of those they care for. And you got to give you that. You're like, you got the sharp sword out when you need to have it out. But to protect your family, to protect your home, to protect your space, to protect your inner private shell-like life. But for the most part, you're empathic, you're kind, you're intuitive, you're a highly sensitive, energetic. And so Mars and swords are not your cup of tea. And indeed, Mars doesn't really like being in your sign because it's not your cup of tea. So it could look like you're holding the sword and going, I hope this is going to work. And what you're hoping is going to work is that he's going to go back and cut some dead wood off the tree of what you want to experience in your life. This is the steering wheel or the helm of the chart if you're a rising sign, and you could cut anything, your marriage partner, your home, you could cut your career path off. If your sun, it's definitely things to do with career and reputation that you're willing to sword fight and cut away. And if it's your moon, you might be ready to cut out of the current home you're living in, Cancer moons. But you've got the sword going backwards, like he's coming back in and he's like, take the sword, damn it. And you're like, oh, all right, here, I got the sword in my hand. Now, through January 6th to February 23rd, this is where you are not yet certain what to cut. You're just learning how to wield the damn sword, but you're thinking about it. You're considering decisions. You're pondering actions. On February 23rd to April 18th, you start snipping away. Mars has a function. All right. Venus is harmony. Mars is like, Venus is uniting. Mars is separating. Venus can be harmony. Mars can be conflict and difficulty or strife. And interestingly, you need both in life, right? I love that. I was just listening to my teacher, Adam Ellenbus, talk about this very topic. And you can't, life is about hot, cold, up, down, in and out. We're in a polarity, a duality. So this is where you can take that sword, February 23rd through to April 18th, and discernment here, cut the things away from your life that you do no longer want to have embedded into your reality. So most in harm's way may be your significant marriage type long-term partnership, but you could cut out clients, audience, marketplace. My sister's she's been a Reiki healer for years, and she's also been a nurse, and she's just thinking about maybe she wants to retire out of any healing path. And when you think about that, that would be to cut away the healing work with her clients. And even though she's in demand and she's brilliant at it, just because we do something in a zone of excellence doesn't mean it's our zone of genius. So I consider that you could cut career, cut friendships away, cut a relationship from your children, like maybe separate away a little more emotionally, cut away a marriage situation, cut away from your home, change your neighborhood. There's a lot of change on the horizon because Mars is the actions and decisions. So you'll feel this energy. And one more thing, January through to about April, Mars is out of bounds. He's out of control. He's radically unstoppable. No one's telling him what to do. He's out of the declination of the sun on the ecliptic. It means that he's basically a rogue Mars. He's going rogue. In your marriage, be careful if you have one, because you could go rogue on your partner. You know, like I never told you that I haven't liked you since the day we were married. Just be careful. You know, that sword is most directly aimed at significant relationships that you have, particularly your marriage partner. Okay, or your long-term committed love partner. Moving on to the next story. You also have a beautiful, amazing lucky event happening in April. I'll try to show it to you. Unfortunately, I always end up losing, of course, as I move through time, the ascendant, but we'll get to April and I'll try to push it back a bit. Okay. So hang in there. This is what I don't like, not being able to pin the sign to pin the tail on the donkey, but let's for you show you what I'm seeing, and you can like get excited as well. Let's put it back to your particular rising. We're going backward. This is big thing number 2. Okay. And if you haven't hit the like button and subscribed, why don't you think about doing that? I'm getting the weirdest light in my window right now, that big glare of sun, but just for you guys, because Jupiter's going to give you a sunshiny day. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's move back to the picture and talk about what I'm seeing here for you. This is it, guys. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. Now, this is happening for everybody, but why it's so beautiful for you is because it's in a gorgeous, amazing, a lovely trine. to who you are in this life. You probably haven't figured out what I'm talking about. Let's get going. Woo, let's talk this. So basically, Saturn and the North Node are going to co-join in the last week of April. That just keep it simple. And Venus is exalted sitting right here. This triad is extraordinarily rare. Just to have Saturn conjunct the North Node, that last happened in 1877. This is where the eclipses are happening, and you will have eclipses going through this part of your chart all through the year of 2025 and into 26, indicating North Node expansion of the desire for you to be in alignment with your purpose, dharma, the true path where your talents and abilities are being used, success in luck in publishing, legal outcomes favoring you in courts and judicial matters, a possibility of visas, passports, foreign land travel, or even moves. And finally, success and happiness in long-term third marriage type relationships. And just plain old luck. This is a luck house. This is a beautiful luck house. The ninth house is a Lakshmi luck, prosperity, wealth, and it flows in a trine of water to you Cancers. It's also the house of publications, most specifically book publishing. And so if that's anything you are thinking of, that could be successful. And you may also want to go back to school, higher learning, educational settings, academia, colleges, universities are up here in this house of knowledge and wisdom, and also spiritual life. It's your house of God. And if you haven't found your perfect religion yet, there could be a shift here, or spiritual philosophy. All of that said, the real important point is that this last week of April is extremely, extremely fortunate. You are in the throes of a very lucky break time, or a lucky feeling, or a divine destiny, and things are moving forward with ease and grace. And with Jupiter in the 12th house, it could definitely look like the last week of April, a far-off foreign land journey, also learning opportunities for teachers, teaching, guru, finding a guide, a teacher, a mentor that's your person, finding yourself definitely ready for studies of some sort, maybe applying to schools, and knowing that that window, prescriptively, I'm telling you, is very lucky. If you have to apply for a school, apply at the end of March and the first anytime between the end of March, basically, and the last week of April, good to go. But certainly closer to what I'm showing you here, the last week of April. Put your book into, an agent or a publishing house. See if you can get it published. You can use this for those things. Get your lawyer to set a court date around this time. You will be favored. All right. Saturn says enduring. Venus says luck. North Node says destiny. This is your time. Okay. Wow. So good luck with that. What's next? Oh, and if you are single looking for love, love can show up in a foreign land, foreign shore, or with a foreign person during this dating opportunity time. And that's especially exciting for you because if you do find a love story here, it may be because of something to do with travel, but also ultimately because of friends. And it may be that you and a certain someone will share a larger social network or larger social belonging group. And that may indeed be a part of how you meet as well. Now, we're going to talk about Jupiter because you have to go back to June of 2013, like to June of 2014 or so, to get the vibe of what I'm about to describe. Jupiter is moving into your first house. Jupiter in your first house is a good feeling. Oh, let me double check that date. I'm having one of those menopause brain moments. 13, let me just double check. Okay. Let's just make sure that my brain is still working. I'll be right back. Brain come back online. Thank goodness my brain still works. My goodness, it is right. So June of 13 to about June of 14, right? 2014 was the last time that Jupiter crossed into the sign of Cancer. In your sign, he is what we call exalted. So he's very powerful. He's kind of on a joyride. He's super giddy with possibility. He's go big or go home. He's reaching for the stars. He's limitless possibility. And you have limitless possibility. Reach for the stars, go big or go home. in the sense that you carry the Jupiter energy. It brings you luck personally. And as he enters into here, you notice that he's with Mercury, bringing you greater luck with communications, marketing, selling, speech, ideas that you wish to generate, writing. And this energy also just simply says for one whole year, you will be lucky. You will feel like the universe has landed on your side of the playing field and has got a backup unit for you. It's good for your health. And if you have any health problems, Jupiter will expose them so you can improve them. It's really good for your fertility. If you're a Cancer wanting to have a baby, or your partner and you want to have a baby, this increases the likelihood of success. This is also really good for expansion of your girth. Now, most of us have experienced that Jupiter transit through our first house, unless you're under the age of 12, and you always go, oh no, what's going on? I'm getting fatter or my belly's bigger. But you can also put muscle on here. But if you gain fat weight, it won't last. Take a deep breath. You're not going to end up like a jumbo. It's just a temporary padding. Jupiter likes us to be healthy and bounteous and large and expansive and to grow. And he'll grow our body. Is that crazy? He'll grow your hair. If you've been having problems with your hair, it's not thick. It's like it's sparse. It's not luscious and luxurious. He'll grow your hair. He'll strengthen everything to do with your body in general. Okay. The head in particular, but the whole body in general can be improved during this transit. Now, because you're lucky, and it's amazing to be so darn lucky, Jupiter is flowing to the North Node and all of the eclipses in your ninth house. And as a lunar being, you are influenced dramatically by eclipses because you are an eclipse-driven being. So are the Leos, because Sun and Moon create the eclipses. And so eclipses really impact you quite strongly. And so these eclipses in Leo, in the North, these eclipses that are going to be occurring up here in the Pisces part of your sky, and I've got a whole video on this. I'm not going to delineate each eclipse, will help you expand your life throughout 2025 into the midway of 26 to find your deeper purpose, to align with a path of learning or teaching or knowledge or spiritual wisdom or book publishing that really fits for you. If you are anybody with a desire to get into more of a meditative, spiritual, or find some kind of foreign culture, religious path to follow, North Node is a foreigner in the house of religion, then you could find yourself falling into like the Sufi way, or, becoming a Buddhist, but you will enjoy the ride. So something, and will bring you fulfillment and happiness and luck and a feeling of, there's a Gabby Bernstein book, the universe has your back, or something like that's the title. It's a very Gabby Bernstein title. The universe has your back. But you could find a foreign belief system about spirituality or practice, right? It doesn't have to be a belief. It could be that you're going to find a practice that's traditional but foreign. So like, a mantra meditations, or Sufi whirling dervish dancing, or what do you call it? There's so many traditions out there. You take your pick, okay? But it will fulfill you. It will lead to a sense of embodying the truth that you're safe in this world, that you got protection, which brings me to another thing. Jupiter does offer protection. So this is a very positive year in terms of being protected from any kind of harm that could come your way. Jupiter physically, Jupiter is the guy who keeps the asteroids from falling from the sky, from the asteroid belt, a smashed planet, Tiamat, between Mars and Jupiter. Babylonians called it Tiamat, keeping the asteroid rubble belt from falling into us as it's gravitationally pulled towards the sun. Jupiter's countervailing gravitational pull keeps that asteroid belt stable, the rubble belt. And you will find that no matter what happens in your life, no matter how many difficulties may occur to your health, in your life in general, your job, your work, your kids, that you're going to find yourself okay. Okay, that's my final, it will be fine. Take a deep breath. Jupiter wants you to expand beyond your career, beyond your job, beyond the way you've been doing things. Why? Because the number 4 thing you Cancers must pay attention to is Saturn will go on May 25th until September 1st into your 10th house, and he's with Neptune. This is a flavor of what you're going to get next February of 2026. Add 3 years, but roughly, of Saturn and Neptune up there together. But this is very important because Saturn, when he enters the 10th house, will do one of 2 things. And you'll feel this, as I said, May 25th to September 1st. Is it time to quit, retire, to grim reap, to sort of discerningly to end a career path? And, anything, it doesn't have to be the company you work for. Maybe you've been on a particular sort of professional direction. And, like, I see this so commonly. Saturn has people leave their job, retire out, quit what they're doing. And it's not like you're quitting in defeat, because when Saturn's here, he's actually at the apex of a mountain. He's in the 10th house, and he's like not trying to punish you. He's saying, is it fulfilled? Have you mastered and have you become the authority and master of what you've been working on for 30 years? And it's time to ask yourself if it's over. An example is Kamala Harris. She's got Saturn moving through her Pisces 10th house since 2023. And in the United States election, I should have taken that as a very strong clue that it's very not likely that she's going to win the election, because she'll be in the same career, right? So, Saturn says, top it up, max it out, right? Go to the top, and then let's go back down the other side and find a new mountain to climb. So some of you will be doing that. It doesn't mean you're going to fall down and dismount the career path right away, because he's going to be here for 3 years. But there are major considerations going on for you in the summertime, May 25th to September 1st. And Neptune says, what dreams do you have? What goals do you have? What visions do you have that you want to accomplish? This career descendancy or ascendancy, because it's a 3-year journey, you might need a little more time to climb to the top before you scrabble back down to the other side. So I can't tell you how or which way this will go, but it will go a certain way. I'm an Aquarius rising. And when Saturn was climbing into my 10th house and doing his march up the top of my sky in Scorpio, this girl left behind an magazine editing career path, where I was an editor of several online magazines, and I was also working in a kind of more spiritual field, doing sort of spiritual woo-woo counseling. And that was the end of that career. I'd hit the peak, and I decided to let it go, to go back down the other side when Saturn was moving through Scorpio. So this is your turn now, you Cancerians, all right? So finally, the last thing I want to mention is Jupiter says, look, he's squaring Saturn. He's basically going to say throughout the whole summer, he's going to say one thing: I got your back. I'm big enough. I'm better enough. I'm more powerful than Saturn. Saturn is in a condition of difficulty. It's called his fall. And for you, it will be a fall if you were to try to stay in a career path over the next 3 years. It really doesn't suit you. But you want to maximize your success. You want to reach the peak, even if you don't complete the journey. Kamala Harris got to be the nominee. She's not the president, for example. I remember when the Scorpio transit was happening, I reached the peak. I was ahead of a whole division. I got to name it at the magazine. I got to hire the editors. It was called Good for the Soul. I created a whole division as a senior editor, and I had a blast. But then I was like, oh, been there, done that. It's time to leave. So the first vibe is that, but because you have Jupiter looking at this and giving you all the luck and success and positivity you need, don't worry. And last thing I want, you can climb down that ladder and go find another ladder to climb. Last thing I want to tell you, Cancer, is this: Jupiter will enter your second house in July, July 1st kind of thing, 2026, and be there for a year. And that's where, by making the right decision now and letting yourself tune into the goodness of the universe and the bounty that's always here for you, and the universe has your back, when Jupiter steps into your second house, by making these faith, hope, and optimism, true and wise decisions about what you want in life, you will find the financial bounty begin to really develop. This is where you'll be prospering in the next cycle when he's in your second house, in a way that only could happen because you decided to step down or away from some career ambition or goal that's no longer true or right for you. And it could be anything, guys. I don't care if you're retired. Maybe you thought, I'm in retirement and my whole life will be working in the soup kitchen. And after you got to the top of the soup kitchen, administration, you realize you want to do something new. want to try something else, right? There you go. Hopefully, Cancer, those are ideally going to be useful. If you're in a relationship, Jupiter is trying to bless your partner as you look at your partner through Jupiterian eyes. And if you're single, Jupiter sometimes going through a Cancer first house placement for your risings is particularly useful for attracting a brand new relationship partner. Thank you for listening, Cancer. Please check my description box below. Because if you want to join me on Substack as a free subscriber to my Pluto Chronicles newsletter and podcast, or you want to come into my Patreon community where I teach classes and we have 3 Zoom meetings a month, or if you want to check out my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter where you hear first before anyone else when I open up new readings, etc. You want to get free giveaways. I have a bunch of free things I offer you. It's all in the description box below. Even how to cast your chart in whole sign houses. Alrighty, and my free asteroids chart, of course, all in my description box below. Thank you, Cancer. Have an amazing 2025. You are so lucky. You are so damn lucky.